Hi guys, it's Andy from mcfcfantv and welcome to this video all about this new piece of artwork that was launched on the Manchester City website yesterday, and really pleased that Jamie Cooper, the artist, got in touch with us and wanted to do another collaboration video because a couple of years ago we did speak to Jamie and do a video on his original Dream Scene piece that he did for Manchester City. Well, the club have come back and commissioned another piece of artwork, which is about the team of the decade or moments in the decade. But rather than me talk about how it came about and what's in the video, I'm going to pass you over to Jamie, and I'll come back later and I'll talk you through the whole beautiful, beautiful pieces of imagery and artwork and all the different players that are involved. So over to Jamie.
Hi Man City fans and all those at Man City Fan TV. It's Jamie Cooper here. I'm the artist who painted your Dream Scene a few years ago. A number of you may have seen that. And I'm really pleased now to launch my second commission from the club, which is the Team of the Decade. Now, we all know what an amazing 10 years it was from 2010 to 2020, the incredible success that the club enjoyed. Well, I've tried to capture all that into one magical final whistle moment. The whistle's just gone, and all the players from the Team of the Decade and a few extras as well, there's 20 in total, they're all celebrating on the field in front of a packed Etihad crowd. Each player, I've tried to put them in a moment that was significant to them personally from throughout that 10-year period. So you'll probably recognise some of them. For example, Zabba's kissing the badge after he scored the goal in the semi-final of the Champions League. Typical of the man, thinking of the fans, thinking of the club in that special moment. There's also Carlos Tevez with his famous ear celebration, directed up at the Manchester United directors and Sir Alex himself, I think. So if you look through this painting, you're going to see every player in a joyous moment that celebrates the incredible era that the club's enjoyed. I've got Vincent Kompany after his incredible strike against Leicester that pretty much sealed the title. What else is in there? Well, as I said, in the crowd, there's going to be a whole lot of little famous faces that you can have a look through and see if you recognise them. There's blue smoke, there's confetti, there's streamers. It's a party. It's a festival of joy for the Blues fans, and I hope you enjoy it. Now, Andy's going to take you through it in a bit more detail and go over each of those personal moments and have a little, I don't know, walk down memory lane of this last 10 years that's been encapsulated in this image. So I really hope you all enjoy it. I'm really proud of it, and it's over to you, Andy.
Okay, thanks Jamie for that. Really appreciate it. And again, it's just fantastic once again to be working with you on this particular video. But what Jamie did do is he sent me over the booklet that does accompany the artwork, and at the end of the video you will be able to see the prices and what they actually look like on hanging on the wall. So but what he did, well, like I said, with the booklet he did send me over. I'm going to read some of the comments that were made by Jamie, why he selected certain elements and certain players for certain moments, and also there's a couple of quotes from players in there about those moments. So I'm just going to read from the introduction, and this was by Chris Bailey of the Manchester City editor-in-chief, and he said, "What this glittering trophy-laden decade has done more than anything is redefine the phrase typical City. 11 years ago, the very essence of being a City fan meant that leading a match 2-0 with a few minutes left on the clock was a signal for increased blood pressure, a thumping heart rate and an innate sense of doom. It was routine even with that kind of lead for the main road and then the Etihad, faithful to take on the look of panic-stricken climber hanging from the narrowest of ledges by his or her fingertips. Fast forward to today, and typical City now means winning trophies, setting records and playing the most beautiful football. What has not changed in 10 years though is City fans clinging to a certain underdog spirit and humour that has galvanised them through so many of the bad times. That is why this epic work of art depicts so many different facets of the journey and openly nods to the qualities that have led Manchester City to be England's preeminent team of 2010 to 2020. So nice little introduction there by Chris Bailey. And then some of the things in here I'm not going to read out. You're going to have to buy the booklet, or you're going to have to buy the artwork, which does include the booklet. And there's a nice little piece by Jamie Cooper about the challenge to do this second piece of artwork in there. But what we're going to do is we're going to move from the actual painting, and we're going to move from left to right rather than starting with a goalkeeper and working through. And the first one on the left is Pablo Zabaleta. And Jamie says in here that I decided to depict him famously kissing the badge after his 86-minute game-securing away goal versus AS Roma. Players kissing badges can often be seen as insincere and cliched, but when he did it, no one doubted his passion and love for the club and for the Blues faithful. And I mean, it's just amazing. Pablo does make a comment in the booklet about that particular moment. So, yeah, I mean, it is incredible. So I hope you enjoy that particular picture. The next one is Joe Hart, and who can forget that famous sort of celebration? And Jamie says in the booklet, this moment against QPR was the one I wanted for Joe in this painting. His career had some ups and downs, but his contribution to that breakthrough title win is unquestioned, and the unbridled joy he is displaying sets the tone for the entire scene. And again, you know, just incredible emotions on the face of Joe Hart in the painting that Jamie's managed to capture. And on to the next one, which is Carlos Tevez. And I know Jamie mentioned about that in basically his intro to this particular video, but his words in the booklet state, players often have unique ways of expressing themselves in moments of triumph. And as this is a scene of celebration, I thought Carlos's ear celebration would be perfect. It gives us an insight into how this mercurial man thinks and feels. The celebration occurred during his 2-goal performance in the 2-1 Carling Cup semi-final first leg victory in 2010, and was aimed at the Manchester United's directors and probably a few others as well. And there is a nice little story from Carlos Tevez in the booklet, which you'll have to read. The next one is, it's called Changing of the Guard. And this is an image, it's an iconic image now of Edin Dzeko and Alexander Kolarov. And Dzeko, I will read Dzeko's comments, and he says, to beat them 6-1 on their own ground was a humiliation, especially in the derby when it's even worse. United always had that flag which counted the years City were without a title, making fun of our fans. After the 6-1, they were quiet. And Jamie's comments on that particular piece says, Dzeko and Kolarov were best friends and partners in crime throughout their stay. Here they are celebrating history when the club beat United at Old Trafford, and Dzeko scored after that pass from the magical David Silva. Next up, we've got an image of Joleon Lescott, and this was obviously taken, as we know, he established himself as a vital part of the defence alongside Vincent Kompany. And who can forget that header which put Djibril Cissé into score in the QPR game. But he's somebody who is overlooked at Manchester City and done a wonderful job alongside Vincent Kompany. Next up, two icons of the game, certainly in Manchester City. We've got Yaya Toure and we've got Micah Richards. And Jamie says, standing up when it counts is what elevates professional athletes into the elite zone. The big Ivory Coast midfielder ascended to this level when, on the 16th of April 2011, Toure scored the only goal of the game in the man-of-the-match performance against Manchester United in the 2011 FA Cup semi-final. He continued his Wembley success by scoring the only goal in the side's 1-0 win over Stoke City in the final, ending Manchester City's 35-year wait for a major trophy and writing himself into Manchester City folklore in the process. From his foot, a journey of success began from the club, a journey which would continue over the next decade. This image was taken as he celebrated that historic strike. Micah was a later addition via artistic license. And there's a little piece in here as well, and I will read this one. This is from Micah Richards, and he says, after being the underdog for so long against Manchester United, I think City fans always went into the derby thinking the worst. But 2011 changed everything. It was as though all of those years of pain and disappointment when we were getting beaten were just wiped out in one fell swoop. So a really, really nice touch there by Jamie. Next up, it's nice to see somebody of the later generation added in there, and that the next one is Aymeric Laporte, and this was the image was obviously of the defender celebrating that decisive 38th minute header against Brighton, which secured the Premier League title. So good to see it's not just all the old school. There's some of the latest sort of Manchester City players in there as well. Well, this next image, I mean, it's iconic, isn't it? It's of Sergio Aguero, and Jamie has wrote a little piece on this, and it says, has there ever been a City player that has had so many big moments? The 93-20 is the most obvious, but I depicted this in the dream scene, so I went for his Premier League record-breaking strike by a foreign player in January 2020. I've used a bit of artistic license as he scored this in an away game against Villa in a black kit. I wanted all the players to be in the home kit, so it was an all-blue scene, but again, an absolutely incredible image. Next up, we've got Raheem Sterling, and Jamie's comments in the booklet is, this moment captures Raheem's celebration after scoring the winning penalty in the 2019 Carabao Cup final penalty shootout at Wembley Stadium. I could have chosen several moments from what was an amazing season for the dynamic forward and for the club as well. So a nice little bit there, something a little bit different, and I think everybody who was at Wembley that day, including me, our hearts were in our mouth, I should say, just thinking, oh my God, it's Raz and a penalty, but he squeezed it in and we won the cup. The next one is called Unsung Hero, and this is, of course, Fernandinho, who's still at the club, as we know. And Jamie says, Fernandinho is highly respected within the club and definitely a central player in the success of this era. So I thought it fitting he was central in the painting. The moment I've chosen for him is his rocket goal against Stoke in 2017. Next up, we've got the lawnmower, and we've got two images, two parts to this. One is the lawnmower, and the other one is the complete professional. And the lawnmower, obviously being Nigel de Jong. And Jamie says about de Jong, he says, de Jong is someone you want on your side, tough, courageous, and uncompromising. Even though he's famous for his crunching tackles, just ask amongst others, Anderson from Manchester United, as this scene is a celebration, I've depicted him in a more casual pose. And then the complete professional, as we know, is somebody who's just recently retired, Gazbaz, Gareth Barry, unbelievable 653 Premier League appearances, and he now holds the record for that. Absolutely perfect for the team at the time at Manchester City, and transforming us into the formidable unit that we became throughout that particular era when Gareth Barry was actually playing for Manchester City. So it was nice little touch there by Jamie, including Gareth Barry in that. Next up, we've got two characters for different reasons. One is obviously Mario Balotelli, and the other is Bernardo Silva. And talking about Bernardo Silva, Jamie says, I've depicted Bernardo in the game against Manchester United on the 24th of April 2019. He scored the first goal, putting City on top for an eventual 2-0 win. This put the club 1 point ahead of Liverpool with 3 games to go. It wasn't the goal alone that was significant, but the reward for so much hard work throughout the season by Bernardo Silva. And absolutely true. He was phenomenal that year. And if we remember rightly, he was voted City's player of the season. Then, obviously, the why always me moment with Mario. And he says, it was obvious to me in which moment I wanted to depict Super Mario. Obviously, the pass to Aguero at 93-20 to win this title is right up there. But this moment against Manchester United just summed up this enigmatic character so well. Here he is celebrating after he scored the first of his 2 goals in that famous 6-1 win. After some misleading media reports, Chappie, Les Chapman, the kit man, printed him a t-shirt in secret as a message to his critics. And as we know, that wonderful opening goal that set us on our way to the 6-1 victory at Old Trafford. Next up is Ederson, one of the newer players in the team. But he is included in there, and Jamie's thoughts on Ederson is, although Ederson is recognised for his technical skills, I chose to depict him in arguably his most inspired moment. Technique will get you a long way, but it was the total commitment of his double save against Manchester United in December 2017 that captured my imagination. Firstly, stopping Lukaku's strike with his face, then following up with a desperate reflex save at point-blank range from Juan Mata. This showed not only skill, but desperation and a never-say-die attitude that enabled City to hang on to a 2-1 lead and eventual Premier League title that particular season. And the next one is, of course, El Mago, or David Silva, the magician, whatever you want to call him. And it's just, out of all of him, obviously David Silva's my favourite player, but I look at that, that drawing of him and the way he arches his back and the way he's leaning forward to run away. That's how I always think of David Silva that's in there. And I'm sure even though Jamie's not put a comment in about this, I'm sure there'll be something maybe in the future surrounding David Silva. Next up is Kevin De Bruyne. And there you've got that one-fingered salute. And Jamie says, I love this image of him giving his one-fingered salute after scoring in the 8-0 drubbing of Watford in 2019. It seemed to encapsulate his calm, cool-headed superiority as a player. And you might notice some famous fans maybe in the background to that one. And as we're coming to a close now, here's to you, and it can only be for one, and that is Vincent Kompany. And that, I think anybody who was in the ground that day remembers that celebration, remembers that goal. And Jamie says, amongst a decade of highlights and moments of true leadership, his thunderous strike against Leicester was a standout. Not only was it a screamer scored by a defender from outside the box, but Sergio begged him not to shoot just before he did. They laughed about it after the game. It turned out to be the goal that ultimately won the league that year. It was also his final appearance at the Etihad Stadium as a player. He was very emotional after it, and he wept on the pitch. And it's just an incredible... even looking at... I can recognise a few people in that crowd, and I think, I know who the guy in the glasses is. Well, both guys in the glasses. But it's great to see the celebration of somebody between his legs, and obviously Bobby Manx clapping there as well, amongst the other managers. But what an absolutely wonderfully captured image of Vincent Kompany. And that leads us to the final part on the right-hand side of the main painting, and that, of course, are our 3 managers from 2010 to the present time. Of course, we had Bobby Mank, Roberto Mancini, who started everything, changed the philosophy at the club, that winning mentality. Just incredible, absolutely incredible manager. And we moved on, and we forget what Manuel Pellegrini did. Even though he wasn't the most charismatic manager we've ever had, we still played some wonderful football on him, under him, and then on to the current sort of manager now, which is obviously Pep Guardiola, and we've seen us break record after record and win lots of trophies over the last few seasons under Guardiola. So nice little bit at the end there on the right hand side of the main painting. What I will do is I'm going to show you also, if you are interested in purchasing that, and you can also go over onto Jamie's website, which you might have saw it in Jamie's part. It's www.jamiecooperartist.com. You can go over and check out some more information on the actual paintings, but I'm just going to show you a little bit of a graphic. And now there are two types. There are the big canvases, and we will show you images of what they look like on the wall. As you can see here, this is the lithograph on paper. It's 950 millimeters by 428 millimeters, and the price is £70 plus £15 delivery in the UK, and it comes rolled in a tube. Bonus is that it comes with a 23-page colour booklet revealing all of the stories in the book. You know, I've just gone through just some of the stories and just some of Jamie's comments. Lots of the players have their own statements about that particular image, and then there's a profile piece on each particular player. And also don't forget, there's a print of the artist's preliminary sketch, which is 600 millimeters by 280 millimeters. Now, as you can see on this next one, this is the canvas reproduction, and I will actually show you the what it looks like on the wall. And this is 130 centimeters by 43 centimeters. This one is £550 plus £20 delivery. Now, this is wrapped in a bubble wrap and cardboard boxed, printed on cotton canvas, wrapped around wooden stretcher bars, and actually comes with hanging brackets that are ready to put on the wall. The bonus, it comes with a 23-page colour booklet revealing all of the stories, and again a print of the artist's preliminary sketch, which is 600 millimeters by 280 millimeters. And as you can see by this next particular image here, you can see what the large canvas reproduction looks like when it's hung on the wall. It's absolutely amazing. Really, really nice piece of work by Jamie. So if you want to look for something like the large one, I would suggest you start saving now, or maybe look out and your loved ones, boyfriends, girlfriends, partners, husbands, wives, whoever, and see whether they can all chip in for a Christmas present, which is only around the corner. So I hope you really, really love those images as much as I do. I just want to say again a massive, massive thank you to Jamie for contacting us and giving us his time, and we had a great chat about the artwork and everything. It's just amazing, absolutely amazing to see. And don't forget, there will be more information in the description below this video. So if you fancy contacting Jamie, having a look on his website and seeing if maybe some other artwork, because he does a broad spectrum of sports. He does American football and baseball and Aussie rules and rugby and you name it, everything to do with sports, those type of brilliant pieces of artwork. So go on his website, www.jamiecooperartist.com, and you can go and check them out. But this is Andy from Man City Fan TV. I hope you enjoyed it. It looks absolutely incredible. And once again, a big thanks to Jamie. Hope you enjoyed that run through. And if you want to go on there or the City site and purchase one, even if it's one of the smaller ones, it's definitely going to be worth your while. And the booklet, reading through the booklet is really nice touch as well. But take care. Don't forget, go over if you want to. There is a link in the description below. I did a video with Jamie 2 years ago on the dream scene, and so if you want to check out that video, and I'm sure you can still purchase that as well, then you can see that in the description below. But this is Andy from Man City Fan TV. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell icon, give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you soon.